Hello everyone, you're watching a beginner's drawing tutorial with me, Yayan Shepherd. In this video you'll be learning how to do straight lines, circles, perspective and what perspective is, cubes and cylinders in perspective, and adding features such as cutouts, adding features like cubes and cylinders, and making holes. This should make it so, like in the example I've got on this front page, going from a problem to a solution and drawing the solution so then you can make it. So you start off with a blank page like I have here. What a lot of people do is put an elbow down up there and it arcs around. That means it's a curved line rather than a straight line. So what you want to do is not have anything on the paper apart from that part of your hand and the pen itself. So you start from that point, try and get to that point over there as straight as possible. So you go across. May seem simple, but it's harder than it looks to do a line that far across the page quite straight. So if you do it yourself, just practice going along the page as straight as possible. So if you pause now and you can try that yourself. Right, what I'd like you to try and do now is some circles. So this is another thing that seems easier than it actually is. So again, only contact that on the page with your pen, go round in circles before if you need, and then you go try and make a perfectly round circle. May take you a little while to get into it, which, well, it will for me too. And then slowly go round page with different size circles and fill the page as best you can. So I'll let you pause again and try that. And then you can try and do ellipses. So they are essentially circles, but squished almost. So that's comes later on, but you can start practicing them now if you want. They should have a line going across there, and it should meet in all of those 4 points. Like that. So, as I said earlier, I'll try and explain what perspective is for those that you don't already know. So, you start off with a point in the centre, you have 2 points either side, and that's what everything goes to, like that. So it's like as if you were looking at, say this box, you look at it like that, you start off with a point in the top corner and everything else goes smaller as it gets further away. So if we use our straight lines we learnt before, you can try and draw a cube. So a point in the centre, 2 points either side, a line out to that line, a line out to that line, a line down the middle, so vertical, and then from that point you want to go towards that point you want when on the original line. So if you want to, you can do that very lightly and then go over it again. And same with the other side. And then it all depends on how big you want your cube to be, or if you want it to be like a rectangular face on that side or whatever. You then do another straight line down there, another straight line down there, and then this back line also joins with that point, so like that, and then that one to that one. And then you make that a bit thicker line so then you can actually see that. And then with this point, that also goes across there. And same with that one. And then theoretically, that should line up, those 2 points should line up. So obviously that one's a bit wrong. And that is a basic cube in 2-point perspective. So what I want to show you now is a cylinder. So using your circles and ellipses you've done before, draw a line across there. So that is where your cylinder is actually going to go through. Sometimes it's easier to turn the page for this. It's cheating, but you can do it. So you want your circle to be equal either side of a line. And like with the 2-point perspective, if you have an ellipse there, down here, when it gets further away, it's going to turn more of a circle, so it gets a bit fatter. So that point gets smaller as it goes towards the end point, which is really far over there. Do the other line. And then if you want those to join up with a circle, like that. And then you can go over it with a thick pen. Like that. It's not my best work ever, but you can understand what I'm trying to get across. So there you have a cylinder and you have a cube. So what we want to do now is add features to these cubes, so then you can make stuff like this. So you can see this was started off with a cube, or that sort of shape anyway. A simple box is what everything starts off as, and then you build from there. So with a basic cube shape, I'll quickly draw one here. So with that, if I want to add, say, a like a basic rectangular cutout, I'll just draw down like that. I want another line going towards the finite point, like that. Another one that way. Just remember that everything goes to the points at the end. And then anything that is vertical goes vertical unless it has a reason to not. There we go. And that is a cutout of that rectangle. So you can go over with a bit bolder outline. So then definitely know that that is the cutout point. And then if you want to add, add a cube onto it. So let's say over this side. So again, using that point and bring it out that way. Make sure that is going with the line as well. The reason you want everything else to be, well, the reason you want those lines to be thicker or more like bolder is because you don't really want, you won't actually see those lines behind that because that new part is actually covering it. So this is the point where in my lesson 2 I'll show you how to do more shading, but for now I'll just do a basic shade. There you go. So you can see this, the different faces of that. Now I'll show how to cut a hole. This is your ellipses you did before. Try and do them in that perspective. So if you draw a line from there, if you're trying to use a point there as where the ellipse will be, draw that line across. Then you've also got that line going up there and vertical. So I'll show you over here. You've got that, you've got your vertical, and you've got the other perspective line going through there. This is when I showed you those 4 points come in handy. So if you have that point, that point, that point, that point, you want to go through all of them like that. That would be your ellipse. So because it's getting further away, that point will be closer to the center. So like that. And a simple way to show that it's a hole being cut out going in that direction, you just do a few lines like that, just to show it's going through. And then if you want to add a cylinder, you do another line going that direction, another line going that direction, and up with your points. And then if you want it to actually join on that point, and then you join them. There we go. And that completes my first lesson in how to get that sort of page. Obviously that's very basic, but you can just build off those skills to end up getting to this sort of standard. Thank you for watching.